How does the intro even start? It's like, I don't know.
Episode 4, Sam. We've made it to episode 4.
I can't believe we've made it this far.
I know. And it's the 1st of October on the date of recording. Wow, the ski season really is not that far away.
We're getting there slowly. 1 month at a time.
And in true Lift Pass form, Sam, I want to hear about your back.
Okay, the back update. It's a big back update. Big news. This week, my back is better.
He's back, ladies and gentlemen. He's back.
He's back, exactly.
He's back. Speaking of injuries, Sam.
Okay, yep.
I thought we'd start this podcast in a bit of a bleak way and maybe dig up some old, slightly painful memories of some of your worst days on the slope. And by worst days, I mean the days that you might have been stretchered off the slope, the days that you may have found yourself in an operating theatre. And I know you've had some of those.
Yeah, you seem to be targeting a specific story of mine.
I think it's time to share that story. Sam.
I think we start with your worst experience because mine might top yours. So we don't want to go from like.
That's true. That's true.
Joel, what's been your worst experience or accident or anything on the slopes? What's it been?
My worst skiing accident. Well, I'm touching my wooden desk right now. So I don't want to jinx myself, but I've actually been quite lucky on the slopes. I'm someone that's probably avoided things like snow parks and things because I'm very aware of how easy it is to get hurt on the slopes. I've fortunately never had anyone kind of smash into me and injure me. In skiing wise, I've had some bad falls, bad bruises, come down hard on ice, but no major, really scary stories. However, I was in Maribel 3 years ago. God, it sounds like the start of a like midwinter murders or something. I was in Maribel.
We haven't got to the end of the story yet. It could be. It's a murder mystery episode.
And it was just after COVID, and I think they'd opened a brand new tobogganing facility. There's one on the Courchevel side, on the far left-hand side of the mountain, if you look at the piece map. And I did that about, last winter, or this winter rather. But 2 years ago, I was over in Maribel, and there was a brand new tobogganing facility. And we sort of had been skiing around it. We'd seen it from the lifts. It all looked quite shiny and exciting, and it was all being advertised. So we sort of said to ourselves, I think the people I'd tobogganed with, I was skiing with, had said, on the last day we'll go tobogganing. It's something they typically did on their trips. So I thought, it's not something I've spent a great amount of time doing, so I'm going to do it too. So on the last day, I think it was about 1 p.m, maybe we just had some lunch. And then we went along to the Black Forest Toboggan Centre in Maribel. It's right at the bottom in Maribel Centre. Collected our toboggans, went up to the top and started tobogganing. It was great. There were 7 of us in the group. We're having a great time flying down on these toboggans. It was quite icy. The course was very fast, very, very fast. But at the top, it was fairly tame, I would say. It had sort of high ice walls. So I'm sure. Have you been on a toboggan, Sam?
I have been on toboggan, yeah. But I haven't been on any like the proper courses where you're going like round corners and stuff. I've been on like...
Right.
Yeah.
Would you agree with the statement, nightmare to steer?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably say that, yeah. Sketchy.
Like, nightmare to steer, nightmare to stop, nightmare to control. Like, you're just getting onto something and hoping for the best. I don't know how anyone controls those things. I quickly learned that I'm shocking at controlling a toboggan. So the top was quite tame, bashing into the ice walls, a bit like a luge or something in the Winter Olympics. But that was keeping me on the straight and narrow, and I was making our way down. We had a few incidents lower down where it narrowed up, it got a bit steeper. We're bashing into each other, not intentionally. We had ski boots on, so if you smash into each other, it really bloody hurts. So we weren't intentionally smashing into each other, but we were smashing into each other because it's impossible to control those things. I want to caveat this, that we were only, going down as a group of people, friends, family that we were kind of skiing with. There wasn't other people in this space. But we were trying to stay in control as much as possible. But the nature of this Black Forest run that was extremely fast and extremely icy made it very difficult to control yourself. So we got around this corner after, us. By this point, we'd all kind of come out of our toboggans multiple times, bruised, battered, feeling a bit sorry for ourselves. But the adrenaline was pumping through us. None of us had been on this course before, so we didn't know what to expect. Then it seemed to... We got to this corner. There was a sort of a 180-degree turn, a hairpin, if you like. And one by one, we started going. And I thought, this is a modern toboggan run. There's netting. There's, there's sort of well-maintained ice walls, so you can't kind of fly off the side. The whole run is kind of, well maintained.
It's safe. People do this. They do it at the end of every trip.
Exactly.
Nothing bad can happen.
It's a tradition. It looked like it had been invested in, and to be fair, it did. It was well, it's well looked after. So one by one we went. I was probably maybe the penultimate person to go down. So 4 or 5 went down this straight, narrow bit. Quite a fast bit, but clearly those other people before me were maybe more experienced tobogganers because they were using what I can only refer to as the brakes. I put too much faith, I guess, in the safety of said toboggan run and assumed that I would come to a reasonable halt when I needed to apply the brakes. So I was absolutely flying in a straight line down this toboggan run. And then I thought, I'm going a bit quick here. I've got that sort of sinking feeling in my stomach. So I started to pull the brakes and it did nothing. The brakes, I was pulling them with all my might. And I'm not a particularly heavy person or, I don't weigh loads. So typically if I needed to stop, you'd think it, there's not a lot of mass to just keep me piling down this mountain. But then there was a kink in this straight, a slight sort of kink to the right. And I could see it upcoming, and then I'm starting to panic now. I'm wrenching these brakes up and nothing's happening.
Did someone cut your brakes? So you get sabotaged. Maybe this is a murder mystery. Someone tried to get you.
Murder in the Black Forest. So I pulled my brake, nothing happened. And I realized I'm going to hit this kink. Now there were ice walls to the right, and on the left it was a pretty sheer drop with netting and then trees that were kind of wrapped in this thin orange foam, I guess. And I realized I'm going to hit this tree or the netting. And I went flying into this tree. I've got a video of it. I had a GoPro on and I prepared my body for impact. And I was going, I think I calculated about 30 miles per hour. I realized if I hit my head or if I hit my back or my neck, I could be in serious trouble. These trees, they had a little bit of foam on, but still was extremely hard impact. And, it's just my body hitting it. So I sort of braced for my shoulder, my left shoulder and upper arm to hit hit the tree, thudded into it, and then went fly and sort of hit it side on almost, and then it knocked me. So I also went under the netting and sort of halfway down this sheer drop. But luckily, I just managed to grab onto the top of the netting. So my legs are now dangling off this pretty sheer slope. I'm in a world of pain from my impact. I'm dizzy. I can't really see. I've got stars in my eyes. And I'm feeling very sorry for myself. And I don't know if I've broken something. And then my friend comes down, and he came down in a controlled manner because he used the brakes, and sees me, and then pulled his brakes harder so that he could kind of stop next to me. I still don't know how he did that because I don't know how he could stop on that bit. But anyway, sees me in trouble, and I'm just like making noises like I'm in pain, saying I'm hurt. And he spots my GoPro, which flew off my head from the impact, and it was like covered in a light dusting of snow.
So he saved the GoPro first before you.
First thing he did, he clocks that, and he gets his finger and just sort of swipes off the thin layer of snow covering the lens to make sure, we the footage was okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was
make sure
his
it's still
priority.
rolling.
Yeah, exactly. You could see the flashing red light. He's satisfied with that. Then clear the lens. Then he's good to go. And then it's Operation Help My Friend. So he rescued me. Shout out Ollie for rescuing me. Pulled me up. I was in a world of pain. But then at this point, I'm only halfway down the Black Forest toboggan run. And there wasn't anyone around from the there were other skiers, or it was in this closed part of the forest. There wasn't anyone from the Black Forest run who was running it. So my only way to get down, it would have been a crazy walk in ski boots down this icy, narrow thing with toboggan people flying past you. Just not possible. So I got back in the toboggan and tried to just make my way down. And because my arm was so effed, I was just in pain the whole way. And my friends, once they realized I wasn't in a life-threatening position, they enjoyed every minute of it, I would say. They enjoyed every minute of my misery, and have some great videos, some great photos. I then went to the emergency room at the bottom of Maribel Centre. They gave me an X-ray. And for about 12 months afterwards, my left arm was, I lost all my muscle mass in my left arm. My mobility was I wouldn't say reduced, but if I lifted my arm above my head and moved it around, it was pretty painful. Changing gears in a car, especially when you get into a cold car and your muscles and arms are a bit cold. Changing gears in a car was painful. Not ideal. That's my story, Sam.
Okay.
And it wasn't on skis. It was on a toboggan.
I need to see the footage, actually. I need that footage sent to me.
I will show you the footage.
I'm going to play it on loop.
Have it as your...
Make a GIF.
Yeah, exactly. And then, foolishly, 2 years later, there was another chance to go tobogganing, but this side, on the Courchevel side. I was like, I'm going to give this one more go. Hated every second of it. Everyone else is having fun. I hated every second of it. Instant flashbacks to my previous incident.
PTSD flashbacks as you're going down.
Yeah, it was awful. And I actually got out the toboggan and just slid down on my ass because I hated it. And my friends at the bottom were just weighing themselves, seeing me come down this thing on my ass because I refused to use the toboggan. I hate them. They're lethal.
So we can officially say you are anti-toboggan. Don't do it.
I'm anti-toboggan.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a fairly long story. Sam.
Yeah, it was a goodie though.
Please give me your
worst I've got a lot of I've got funny injury stories. I got funny stuff.
All I'll say is I remember you in school coming in a wheelchair. That's all I'll say.
So actually a good thing I should really know is I should know where I was, but I don't really remember where I was because this was, oh no, I've got to figure out how old I am now. Just this was 14 years ago when I was 14, which is crazy to think about. But I'm trying to think of where I was. I might have been in Austria or somewhere. I actually got a spoiler into the story. I actually got helicoptered to another country. So I can't. You just
wanted the heli ride, right?
Yeah, exactly. I need to ask my parents. They were there. They'll know the whole story. But what I know mostly of the story is we were just basically going down. It was me, my mum, and my dad.
Were you skiing, snowboarding?
I was snowboarding at the time. My snowboard's actually the thing that did the injury to me in a way, which is we were basically just skiing around normally, a slight bit off piste, hit the little jumps in between the trees and stuff like that. And I want to say it's during that time where some parts are icy, some parts are soft. It's like this weird in between where every 2 seconds it's changed. Basically, I went through a nice bit of snow, so a nice fluffy bit of snow, but my board underneath the snow just hit a chunk of ice. So it's like I'm going down pretty fast. I think I'm going pretty straight. And I'm basically face planted straight into the floor. So I basically just hit this ice and I went straight down hard onto basically my face. I don't know if I broke my nose, but all of my nose was bleeding because my helmet pushed down, wasn't tight enough, and it pushed down to the top of my nose.
You're wearing a helmet.
Yeah, I was wearing a helmet. Like, I think I would have had some damage if I didn't have a helmet.
Did you ever ski without a helmet?
When I was like I want to say, I don't know, really young, like, but again, like with my mum, like I don't know, 4 or 5 or something. When you're not really skiing, you're not really doing that.
I would say like I just caught the end of like the non-helmet wearing era, where it's quite common not to wear a helmet.
Yeah, I've got a lot of like footage of my parents and even sometimes of my brother skiing without helmets. But yeah, we're all helmet people now, and we always, well, basically the whole time I've been skiing, I've always worn a helmet. And you definitely should. Again, there's a serious difference between, and that, even if you're a good skier, even if you don't fall over, someone else can come flying into you. It's not about how good you are, it's about how shit everyone else is.
Exactly.
It's the reason I wear a seatbelt. It's not because I'm going to crash, because someone else is going to crash into me. And yeah, basically I face planted, bloodied all my nose. But in a snowboard, I was like 14, I was a lot more flexible than I am now. My board basically came up behind me, like my legs flailing over the back of me, and my board smacked into my spine, like directly into my spine.
Like the edge of the board?
The thin cutting edge that's meant to go through like the ice and stuff, and basically straight into my back. So imagine basically someone just taking a snowboard and just like whacking it into your spine
on the
while you're laying down.
On the pointy bit.
Yeah, it's basically the thing that happened. And I was incredibly skinny, so I didn't really have much back muscle to stop much of it.
Did you have a backpack on?
I didn't. I think it would have been a lot better if I did.
If you had like a backpack with like a selfie stick in it or something.
Yeah, I probably would have just snapped the stick or something.
Yeah.
Which would have been a lot better if I had done that. But yeah, after that, sadly, my parents and my mum and my dad were further down the mountain. They didn't realize how injured I was until I was like, I can't move properly. So my mum came up and was like, "Oh my, whatever, we need to get someone." Lucky for me, he wasn't a teacher. He may have been a guide or someone. Was basically just coming down like not even a minute after it happened.
How much pain are you in at this point?
I think I'm in more shock than I am in pain. Like it hurts and I have like blood all over my face because my nose has been like all. Like, I'm pretty sure basically, like, the top half of my nose all the way between my eyebrows was all just, like...
So your nose, like, exploded?
Scabbed, basically, yeah.
Right.
And he was, I want to say one of the rescue people, but he was basically one of these people who just immediately called and was like, oh, he did the check on me, so it's like we didn't even have to call anyone. They were basically there already. He called the people after doing the whole, like, do you remember your name? Do you know where you are? Do you all this stuff? Can you move? And he's the guy. He basically was like, "Oh, you need to get a helicopter out here because like you need to just go. He's not going to be able to go down on a
stretcher.
On a stretcher, it'll be dangerous for him or whatever. Because I think they might have been worried about my neck or something at the time. So the first ever ride. This is what usually we say. My first ever ride in a helicopter is actually. I actually didn't get to look out the window. I was just staring at the ceiling. So I got a helicopter over the mountain stuff. And again, one of the parts of the story is I believe we had to go to a place in Germany or somewhere. The closest hospital or something was in Germany,
right,
or something, because I have cousins out there as well, and they came and visited me while I was still in the hospital. Yeah, again. Vague end of the story with I'll add some more funny stuff to make it more lighthearted, but basically I had a hairline fracture on my spine. I can't remember what it is. I know there's loads of different terms for each part of your back, but basically in the middle of my back. I do have the x-ray somewhere. I think someone probably has on a hard drive. We have all the x-rays of it, but again, it was like a thin fracture. It wasn't life altering. Luckily I wasn't paralyzed or anything like that. But as Joel said, I was in a wheelchair for a while. While I was at the Actually, there's a couple of good stories about the hospital stuff afterwards. So, my dad stayed with me while I was in hospital. And I was in the hospital out there, I think I want to say for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And in those 2 weeks, I learned to do wheelies on a wheelchair. This is while having
that's a great thing to be doing when you have a fracture on your back.
Yeah,
That's a great.
It was I got good at it.
I do remember you doing wheelies. I actually remember we used to go out to like the park, and like this was just our, because how long would you say you were in the wheelchair?
I was probably in the wheelchair for like a month, maybe 2. I was probably in it for longer than I needed to be. I probably could have walked with crutches or something.
Yeah, I remember you being in it for a while, because I remember going to the park and like your mum would like wheelchair you down the road to come and join us. I distinctly have a memory of that.
But one of the other stories was the food in the hospital was so shit that me and my dad fonded about going over to this pizzeria that was like away from the hospital. So one of the days we just left the hospital just to go and get a pizza.
You broke out.
Yeah, we broke out of the hospital, went to go get a pizza
under the cover of
2
darkness.
giant pizzas.
Nice.
Oh, and what is it? Because again, if you're ever going away, make sure you get some form of like winter insurance for any of these injuries in these places. It saves you an unbelievable amount of money. Again, even if you have to just get down,
I wouldn't even clip
somewhere.
into skis without some sort of winter insurance.
Like you honestly,
snow sports winter insurance.
Again, from my recent one where I injured my my ankle. Again, I think that like they charged like 600 or something or other. It was like for just bringing me down. It's like, bloody hell, you didn't even give me anything. I think I had to go buy my own crutches. You didn't do anything, and it still cost me. So yeah, definitely get that. People always have some type of winter like insurance. It's winter sports insurance. That's mainly what you want to see. It's on there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the insurance people had to pay. This was back when I was on my like family's insurance or whatever at the time, because I was 14. But they had to pay for the flight back to the UK, and at the time I couldn't sit up, so they had to pay for 9 seats on the plane. So they got rid of all the seats, and they had their own like thing there for me, which is so fun. And I need.
Did you board first?
Yeah, I boarded.
So
again, obviously, I
had to walk past you.
No, I had my own little like curtain stuff. I had my own like VIP thing.
Hang on, so they managed to build like a business class area on a small European short haul flight.
Again, I need to get my dad, because he's the one that was like sat and got to be around it. But again, I'm pretty sure he showed me the insurance thing before, but it costs like £3,000 or £4,000 tickets.
Well, yeah, they're having to like modify the aircraft.
Well, no, because all those chairs like come out. I'm pretty sure you can like they can change some of those chairs. So I'm pretty sure they took out 9 chairs.
Yeah, but they're having to plan that. It's
exactly.
Not, sometimes
that's pretty like, and also there had to be a nurse that had to come with me the whole way.
Oh my gosh, I didn't actually know they did that. They basically built like an Emirates style suite for you on like a little short haul plane.
Yeah, I can't remember why they wanted me to go back. They basically just wanted me to go to hospital in the UK instead of having
you out of the hospital because you kept escaping.
Yeah, exactly. They said this guy's a loose cannon. They need
you were going down the corridors doing wheelies on wheelchairs.
Yeah, that's my worst injury.
That's a pretty bad one. I don't think many people have been heli lifted to another country. Yeah,
and I hope people aren't heli lifted away, because it's probably not fun.
Not a good sign if the helicopter's having to be called in. Wow. You've definitely one up to me there.
Yeah,
not that it's a competition.
Yeah, I've had more like say light injuries. I've had a shoulder injury similar to, like I say, getting a compressed shoulder. I was on honestly, this was like the 3rd or 4th day or something, and it was like in the morning. We were just going around exploring places, and there was just like some, I want to say a little snow park, but it was like not basically this is how I get injured, is the snow park wasn't well kept, so it wasn't like all the grinds and stuff weren't
maintained,
waxed and stuff like that,
right.
And they didn't have all the stuff. So I'm just casually doing these little ones or whatever, and I go on to get onto like this, I don't know the exact term for it, but it's one of the types of the box grinds.
Yeah,
And
the
I'm just
boxes.
going flat because I'm just casually going down the mountain, and my board just sticks to the fucking box.
So you go up the
'Cause it's
little
not
jump,
waxed.
get
So,
on it, and then just stick
imagine,
to it.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine you're going down skiing just at a regular speed. I wasn't going fast or anything, but just imagine someone just stops moving your skis.
It's
The
like
rest of my
hitting-
upper body just goes forward, and I basically just went straight because I'm sideways on the snowboard. I basically just went straight down into the ground as fast as I was skiing, like straight onto my shoulder, and I like
Oh my
pulled
gosh.
all the front part of my chest. So I had to get had my arm in like a sling for a couple of weeks.
So was that your trip done?
Yeah, but yeah,
Oh my
there was no
gosh.
point in like again. I did.
gosh.
I was worried I damaged parts of my some of my ribs or anything like that, but I think they were just bruised. None of them were broken. Actually, that it was really odd because I would go up to the cafe. There was like this massive cafe that everyone would come back and meet me because I was like, otherwise I'm just gonna sit at home and do nothing all day, so people can at least come to lunch with me. So I'd go up just on a random chairlift. But on that holiday, this was in the Pyrenees, and I always saw what is it, Bill Bailey and Sean Locke. They were just there
Really?
with their family, yeah.
And they
Sadly,
were
Sean
skiing
Locke's-
together?
Yeah, sadly Sean Locke's died.
Yeah,
I think he died a couple of years after.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were just always there in the cafe with their family. It was the
No
most
way.
bizarre thing because I was there all day, 24/7. So I just see when they come in and sit down and do whatever. It was just
They were like, oh, this is our stalker.
yeah, it was.
He's in
Why
the
is this
cafe
guy
again.
always here? Luckily, I didn't have a
You
sling,
must
so
have
people
thought-
could like feel
Did
some
you have like
sympathy for me.
a camera with a long lens? You're gonna send some photos to a
I'm
newspaper.
sat with like a sling on my arm with my phone in one hand. And I just still have a GoPro just on my head at all times, just in
Yeah.
case like
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
happens.
Oh, that's such a strange story.
Yeah, it is a weird thing because I do think it is actually quite common for there to be people like that on the slopes, but you just don't see them because everyone's covered in like
Yeah.
a helmet and goggles and all this stuff. So you probably go past these people all the time. But it was
skiing
because
is-
I was sat at the cafe for the whole day that I got to see
Yeah.
people come in
Skiing
and go
is
out.
perfect for celebrities who wish to leave the house without everyone knowing that
Yeah.
they've left the house. Wow.
Also, luckily, a lot of people didn't. I knew, most people around there knew that they were there, but luckily, most people were like, oh, they're with their families, they're with their like sons and stuff like that. and
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
feel like it's not like you bump into them on like Oxford Street or something.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think many celebrities are walking down Oxford Street. But when you see celebrities, you're kind of very conscious that they're on holiday too.
Yeah.
And you know, most people are pretty respectful. So I imagine not a great deal of people are going up to people.
trying to think of some other ones I've had. I had other worse. Actually, I've had a funny incident. I say it's worse. It is bad. It could have been bad, but I'm trying to think of where we were. Basically, me, my brother, and my dad were just going down. Well, again, we were just trying to find all these new different areas and different off-piste stuff and whatever, trying to find our way around. But we were all just like following each other, and I was in the lead, being like, "Oh, we got to go right here." Basically, we were like, oh, let's go off this way. And it looks like the slope is going up and then down. And you can see that they're on the right as you're going down. You can see people going from right to left. So you're like, oh, this slope is going to go up and it's going to go down. And we're going to join the people who are going right to left. Hopefully it vaguely makes sense in people's heads. We follow this slope. Like, again, there's poles on the edge going, this is a blue or whatever. It's very easy. After you go over the hill, there is no slope. It's just a flat drop. There's just a flat drop and then rocks. So again, I one day I have my brother or my dad or someone on, but what they basically saw is they saw me just go over, and then I realized and I tried slam as hard as I can to stop, but I just disappear because I just fall down this flat. And I'm like screaming up. I'm like, don't come over. Don't come over.
Yeah, because the worst thing they could do is like
Yeah.
rush over and
Yeah,
see
they go
you've gone and
straight
think,
over.
oh, I need to get there as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
and then
exactly. I was like,
make
don't.
the same mistake.
Yeah, but it must have been such a bizarre thing just to see me just drop off, just like straight down, just like, okay, there's nothing else there. And basically, I think what happened is they were combing out like a new slope that was gonna get there.
Right, okay.
But we happened to go at the time before they had put up, the little red barrier line.
Yeah,
things.
the netting. Yeah,
So
yeah.
we were there the moment before they had done that. We just,
Jeez, I mean,
went
that
off it.
sounds nuts.
It was such
Terrifying.
an odd, yeah, it was a very odd experience because it was like, I don't know if you have this, but there is like a mindset I have sometimes when I'm just like cruising. I'm just like enjoying the environment. I'm not even thinking about snowboarding. I'm not thinking about turning. I'm just like, okay, cool. I'll look
Just
over
looking
there. I'll
around
look
you.
at this.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at how crazy all this is. And then just to have the sudden, like, your heart just suddenly goes really fast. You're like, oh my God, there's a cliff.
Yeah, suddenly you're so
second,
relaxed. You go from being fully relaxed to like, oh my gosh, I might die.
I wish I had like a Fitbit at that time. I'd love to like save the data of my heart rate going from like, I don't know, low 60 to just like 100 and something forever, really
Maxed
fast.
out 100% heart rate.
Yeah.
200. Yeah, crikey.
Yeah, I have other
I've
injuries,
got
but
from
they're not
this-
too entertaining.
What I've got from this, Sam, is the skier.
Yeah.
One incident, and by the way, it wasn't even on skis. The snowboarder. 3 pretty
Exactly.
brutal sounding stories.
And to be fair, I haven't injured myself skiing, even though I have skied. God. It's one
That's
for
what
the
I've got from
skiers.
this.
I'm letting the snowboarders down. I'm sorry.
At least your good stories made for some
Yeah,
sorry.
it's a good thing they're not worse stories. That's the thing. It's a
At
good
least
thing
your
they're,
snowboarding made for some good stories.
Yeah.
Me as a skier, I'm a bit boring. I can't come onto a podcast and talk about my accidents. So I've been lucky enough, touch wood, not to have too many. All right, Sam.
Yes.
We've had a question.
An elusive question
This
from a
time.
viewer.
This time I don't know from whom though. Anonymous listener. So I don't know who this anonymous person is, but they've been brave enough to come on and write in with something that they're feeling ahead of a trip. So I'm going to read it out to you, and then
Okay,
I
hit me
think
with
they've
it.
asked for our advice. It says, "Hi Joel and Sam." They've used our names.
That's
We're not just lift and pass. "Hi Joel and Sam. I've just booked another ski trip with my family and our friends." I read that so horrendously. "Hi Joel and Sam. I've just booked another ski trip with my family and our friends. We're going to Austria in February." Oh, how exciting.
Austria. Yeah, everyone's going to Austria.
Lovely. I'm quite jealous. "While I love the idea of a ski trip, enjoy the setting, and for brief moments, the skiing itself, I struggle with confidence on the slopes. My family and the group I ski with are all confident skiers and make it look easy. I hate knowing I'm holding them back or making them alter their plans. This will be my 5th time skiing, and I want to be excited for the trip, but I can't help but feel overwhelmed knowing the general uneasiness I will experience throughout the week. Do you have any advice to build up my confidence on the slopes?" Anonymous listener.
Yeah, I think the main concern is that they're a skier. They need to swap to maybe a snowboard. That'll bring you more confidence. I think you'll look cooler.
Yeah, definitely the classic confidence-inspiring snowboard.
Is it actually no? Because then it doesn't matter. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm brand new to snowboarding. Like that's why my confidence is low because I'm learning something new." Okay, that's why.
That's true. He's got the excuse.
But maybe we should give some real advice or some. How did I gain my confidence skiing or snowboarding?
I think from my perspective, a huge one is conditions. Don't put yourself, if you know the conditions are bad, either from a visibility perspective, if you know it's icy, if you know it gets bad or busy at certain times of the day, or a certain run gets chopped up, don't put yourself in the position where you're stood at the top of a slope and it's really icy and people are flying all over the place and you've suddenly got to make your way down. If you know the weather's a bit crap, if you know conditions are unfavorable, I would say, you may feel the pressure to make the most of your trip and ski as much as possible, but actually it's better to enjoy the skiing you're doing rather than having moments that are going to break your confidence. Because realistically, I think it only takes 1 or 2 moments per trip that kind of really jar you and can destroy your confidence. So yeah, I would say maybe look at the conditions for the day and make a call on, okay, I'm going to ski in the morning because it looks nice. It won't be too sort of chopped up. It won't be as busy or whatever. It depends on time and place your skiing. And then if you know it gets particularly bad at a particular time, or even if you just get unlucky with the week you're skiing, don't put yourself in a position where, you're having to get down an icy slope. Go down on the chairlift if you need to. Just maximize your skiing on good conditions and minimize your skiing on bad conditions. I think that would make a big difference.
Yeah, that's more the not forcing yourself to do things that you are not confident in.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a good way. I think that I build confidence in a lot of things that I do is typically. I see. Did they say how many? They said they've been 5 times. 5 times over. It could be like
this
over
will be the
a
fifth,
long amount of time.
5th trip.
Yeah, the main thing that, again, how I get confidence in things is mainly having a deeper understanding of what you are doing. So again, when you start snowboarding, you start skiing or whatever. Again, I've only been snowboarding more recently, but you go through your lessons basically just copying your instructor, and a good thing you get basically the more advanced you get, you kind of more understand why you are doing these things. Again, with snowboarding, it's like the pressure that you're putting on each foot and the fact that you can just slightly turn out your foot or whatever you want to do for each condition can you make you more confident understanding why you are doing things instead of just going down the way that they kind of showed you how to doing it is understanding why am I putting my foot there? If I'm wobbling slightly to the left, what do I need to do with my right foot or whatever to compensate? So it's basically that's a way that I can you can build your confidence just by your understanding of what you are doing. The other thing is probably something that people, again, they might feel that they are holding their family back, but again, even if you just go a bit slower and you don't fall over as much, you're going to get there in a quicker time. So don't just make sure your pace is correct, because if you're doing stuff too fast, basically the faster you go when you ski or snowboard, all it's really doing is it's meaning you can react faster. So the speed, that's all really speed is doing for you. So if you don't know what you're doing quick enough, you just go a bit slower, gives you more time to recorrect for the things that you're not doing.
Yeah, it gives you more time to plot your route, as you said, react to things on the slope. If you suddenly hit a patch of ice, if you're going slower, you're not going to be caught off by it so quickly. And I think you touched a little bit there on the lessons side of things. Actually, that's an obvious one. Presume you've had some sort of lessons. You may now be going, and because it sounds like your friends and family can ski, you may be just showing up and just expecting to just, or even just wanting to just go out and ski. Actually, I think no matter how good of a skier you are, it's always worth having lessons, either just to refresh things or continue to improve your technique. So maybe commit to, 3 or 5 lessons, morning lessons throughout the week. It also takes the pressure off. You mentioned here, you hate knowing you're holding back the people you're skiing with and making them alter their plans. Well, actually, you can go off with an instructor for the morning, and probably with a small group potentially as well of people of similar ability. Get your instructor, providing there's someone you click with and kind of gives you confidence. Your instructor will take you to the right areas, help build up your confidence just through better technique. As Sam said, actually, thinking about your technique and not just turning up and expecting things to click might help. So I think that would make a difference. And then even if you're unsure before you're heading out and you don't want to waste 3 or 4 days building up your confidence, maybe a month before your trip, going to a place in the UK, or I presume you're from the UK, or wherever, you might be US based or Europe based. I'm sure wherever you're based has some sort of probably not dry slope, but indoor ski slope facilities. Go to one of those before your trip. Just do a couple of hours, just again building up your confidence, and those places are quite good because they're almost quite controlled conditions. You're not going to have bad weather, you're not going to have fog, you're not going to have ice, I know the snow quality can be a little bit variable, and it's obviously artificial, but you're not going to have huge patches of ice and things that catch you off guard. So actually, they're great places to go and build up confidence.
If all of that fails, just if you're of legal age, take a shot while you're on the mountain. Might give you some confidence. If none of this works, just take the money from the holiday and go on a summer holiday. What else? Nothing else really. That's just the silliness.
I think everyone, some people are just naturally less confident, or bodies less responsive to skiing.
Some people are overconfident, and they get injured more. They get helicoptered off. Yeah,
actually,
so you might be doing better.
An underconfident skier is much, much, much better than someone who is overconfident and estimates their ability and then hurts other people.
Yeah, so, you're actually probably the most sane person on the mountain, actually, because everyone else is just skiing 60 miles an hour down a mountain,
pointing their skis towards the bottom of the slope and hoping they get to the bottom. Great.
Yeah.
That was an interesting question, actually. And it's quite, we're obviously on this podcast because we love skiing and are therefore more likely to be confident skiers. So it's quite interesting to put yourself in the shoes of someone who is less confident and, try and identify some ways to support them. So that was a really interesting question, actually.
The other thing to make sure you remember is you're not the only person who feels like that on the mountain. I guarantee they're like, I don't know, at least a minimum 1 in 10 people up there. Every time you spot them is feeling the exact same way you do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. And if you go more in, the green, blue runs, you're kind of more surrounded by other people like that. And it almost makes you feel like you're not out of place or not the only one. So yeah,
you'll be all right.
Sam, this has been a good podcast. I've enjoyed
not too bad.
We touched on one question and one main topic, but they were both really interesting. So I've enjoyed this one. Just as a reminder, if you want your question answered, we have an email address. We want to hear your questions, thoughts, interesting articles, whatever it is. The email address is podcast@liftpass.org. Please send in whatever's on your mind. We would love to chat through them. And yeah, we're 1 week closer to the start of the ski season. It's now October. I've started to see more resorts opening up or getting ready. So yeah, this has been great. Thanks, Sam.
That's all right.
And
it was a great podcast.
Thanks everyone for listening. Send us your questions and we'll see you next time.